The events surrounding the elevated highway in Ashdod City after being bombarded by coordinated strikes originating from Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq have triggered intense discussion both locally and internationally. Not only because of the symbolic importance of targeting such an infrastructure hub, but also due to the wide-reaching consequences that stem from striking a piece of engineering that plays a critical role in urban mobility, logistics, and national defense. To understand what happened and why it is so significant, we need to break down the context, the technical aspects of the highway itself, the nature of the strikes, and the broader implications of what this means for Israel today. The elevated highway in Ashdod is more than just a roadway for cars and trucks. It is an engineered structure designed to sustain heavy traffic volumes, withstand coastal weather conditions, and provide uninterrupted flow of transport above the ground level. Elevated highways like this are crucial in dense urban areas because they relieve congestion at ground level while linking industrial zones, ports, and residential districts with speed and efficiency. Ashdod is home to Israel's largest seaport, handling a significant percentage of national imports and exports, meaning that the elevated highway was not only a public utility, but also a vital artery for trade and military logistics. Trucks transporting goods from the port to the rest of the country, armored convoys moving equipment, and emergency vehicles all depended on this structure. The strikes were carried out in a coordinated fashion, suggesting a high level of planning and intelligence gathering by the alliance of forces involved. Reports indicate that the weapons used were precision, designed to inflict maximum structural damage rather than indiscriminate destruction. The fact that the highway, a reinforced concrete structure engineered to resist significant physical stress, could be destabilized in this way shows both the precision of the strikes and the vulnerabilities inherent even in advanced infrastructure systems. When evaluating the performance of the attack from a military technical perspective, one sees the effectiveness of combining missile trajectories from multiple directions. Launching from Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq created a multi-vector approach that stressed Israel's air defense systems, forcing interception resources to spread thin across a wider area. This diluted the Iron Dome and David Sling defense networks, allowing some missiles to penetrate and hit their intended target. From a design standpoint, elevated highways rely on strong pylons and reinforced slabs. Their strength comes from layered steel, reinforcement embedded in concrete, distributing loads across multiple supports. However, the weak points in such a structure include the joints where segments connect, the exposed columns that rise above the ground, and the expansion bearings that allow the bridge to flex during heat changes or seismic activity. By targeting these stress points with precision munitions, the attackers ensured that the impact would ripple across the structure, leading to partial collapses and large cracks that rendered the roadway unusable. Engineers analyzing the aftermath observed fractures radiating outward from the impact zones, suggesting shaped charges or high-penetration warheads, rather than simple explosive payloads. The unique selling point, or rather the critical vulnerability demonstrated here, is that elevated highways are choke points in urban design. Unlike ground-level roads, they cannot be easily bypassed when damaged, and their repair requires specialized equipment, heavy materials, and time-consuming engineering work. Striking such infrastructure achieves two objectives simultaneously: paralyzing logistics and creating psychological shock. For residents of Ashdod, seeing a normally bustling, elevated highway turned into a crumbling, smoke-covered ruin carried a strong symbolic weight. It communicated that no part of Israel's infrastructure, however modern or fortified, is beyond the reach of adversaries. Performance aspects of the strike also highlight the evolving technology used by the attacking alliance. While Israel has long relied on its missile defense network as one of the most advanced in the world, the attackers exploited the saturation principle. By firing multiple salvos simultaneously from 3 different countries, the system was over. Missile interception is not only about the quality of the defense, but also about numbers, timing, and direction. Defenses must calculate trajectories within seconds and launch interceptors with precision. If too many incoming targets arrive at once, some inevitably slip through. That is precisely what happened in Ashdod. Beyond the military analysis, the strike has disrupted daily life in Ashdod. Commuters who relied on the elevated highway now face gridlocked ground-level streets, Freight trucks are forced onto longer detours, delaying shipments and raising transportation costs. The Israeli Defense Forces, which use the highway for rapid mobilization between bases and the port, must now reroute movements, adding strain to already stretched supply lines. Repairing such a structure is not a quick fix, while temporary supports and patchwork can restore partial use. A full rehabilitation of the highway could take months, if not years, depending on the depth of the structural compromise. One of the overlooked but important aspects is the psychological impact of this type of strike. Unlike hitting a remote military outpost, damaging a piece of visible public infrastructure in a major city like Ashdod amplifies the sense of vulnerability among civilians. People drive under elevated highways daily, and now they have seen one collapse under bombardment. This shifts public perception about safety in urban environments, intensifies pressure on government leadership, and fuels debates about whether current defense strategies are sufficient against regional adversaries. Strategically, the attackers may have chosen Ashdod for multiple reasons. First, its port and logistics importance. Second, its location away from the northern front lines, demonstrating that even central and southern Israel are not immune. Third, its symbolic role as a hub of commerce and civilian life, ensuring the strike gained maximum media coverage. By hitting an elevated highway, the attackers also showcased precision, underlining their technological advancement and the ability to bypass Israel's layered defense architecture. Design elements of the strike itself indicate careful reconnaissance. Satellite imagery, drone surveillance, or local intelligence could have been used to identify weak structural points. The use of advanced targeting systems suggests integration of GPS guidance and real-time trajectory correction, something that groups allied with Iran have increasingly displayed. This was not a random barrage, but a deliberate attempt to highlight specific vulnerabilities within Israel's critical infrastructure. The broader implication is that infrastructure warfare has re-emerged as a central tactic in modern conflict. Instead of focusing solely on military installations, adversaries are now targeting highways, communication hubs, and energy networks, aiming to weaken the economy and morale. For Israel, this means rethinking defense, not just in terms of military bases and airports, but also bridges, highways, and public utilities. Engineering solutions may include reinforcing elevated structures with blast-resistant materials, creating redundant road networks, or developing rapid repair units capable of patching damaged highways under conflict conditions. The unique selling point of the Ashdod strike for the attackers is its demonstration of reach and coordination. By involving Iran, Lebanon, and Iraq, it sends a regional message that the Middle East alliance can coordinate across borders and strike deep into Israeli territory with high precision. For Israel, the challenge is to adapt quickly, balancing immediate repairs with long-term resilient strategies. The elevated highway stands as a case study in how modern warfare is evolving, where advanced weapons meet the vulnerabilities of urban infrastructure, reshaping both the battlefield and civilian life.